Hello, all you quarantine YouTubers. How are you holding up? Are you staying at home? Are you able to ride? Ugh, it's a tough time for everybody. I think it's actually kind of an exciting time, minus the healthcare and the seriousness of the COVID-19. I think it's a great time to be able to reassess your life and your goals. We're able to sit down and learn a whole lot, reading and watching YouTube videos. And that said, this video is a little bit different. This is going to be a little bit more personal. I have been able to really reassess my training, my goals, my riding. I've been able to reflect back on all of the privileges I've had to work with various breeds, various disciplines. I've been able to apprentice with a farrier. I've had the luxury of going and training in Europe 100 years ago. I was a vet assistant. I've learned a lot and I've been exposed to a lot. And what I have found as an L judge, I was an open show judge. I've been a trainer of a little bit of all kinds of non-gaited breeds, is that the best part of riding is the group of people that you have in your life and the horses that you get to be around. The best part of riding is the horses and loving the horses and loving what you do and being in a supportive group. And the worst part about riding is being too afraid to put yourself out there. So with that, a little bit about me. I had the luxury of growing up at a local board barn that is still a board barn that has over 100 horses. Currently, still today, there is a Paralympian for dressage that trains out of there. A lot of the boarders fox hunt. A lot of the boarders are retired moms who trail ride. They do 4-H shows. They have a 4-H program. There has been lots of time when I was growing up in the 80s and 90s and early 2000s that various trainers would come in and rent stalls. And lucky for me and everybody that grew up out there, we got to watch and we got to learn if we asked questions. There are some trainers who think that when they have a child watching them, that your parents have to pay for my advice and my expertise. And I get it, because honestly, as a trainer and as a barn owner, we get asked questions all the time. But if you don't answer questions, those kids, those adult amateurs, they're still going to go out and try to mimic what you're doing. They're still going to try to bit their horse up like you're doing, or lunge their horse like you're doing, or try to interpret how you're trying to get this horse on the trailer and try to go do it themselves. So instead, maybe we could try to give them some advice. And if you want payment in exchange, maybe you could do like what I did growing up and offer for them to clean your tack in exchange for you to teach them this lesson on why you're loading this horse the way you are, or why you're lunging this horse the way you are. Maybe you could offer that kid some hard work. Maybe they could pick your stalls. That's what I did. I used to tack up for a very well-known quarter horse trainer who was also a very well-known quarter horse judge who had some time at that board barn. There were actually multiple quarter horse people, several Arab breeders and trainers of many different disciplines in the Arab world. Again, the Paralympic dressage rider, fox hunters, local hunters A and C. I had the luxury of being able to learn a ton about many different disciplines and many different breeds, which made me, in my opinion, a very good open show judge. It makes me an even better dressage educator and judge, because I've seen so many different breeds and I've been exposed to so many different breeds and so many different disciplines. If you know a runner or a professional athlete, they eat a little different. They train a little different. They sleep differently than you do. They are constantly focused on nutrition, health, their body, making sure their body is in recovery, you name it. They're mentally and physically in training, which is what happens when you send your horse to a professional trainer. Not every horse is cut out to be the top of their discipline. And most trainers are very, very good at evaluating that very quickly and telling the owner and encouraging the owner to either let the horse be sold to someone that's their dream horse and that's as far as they want to go, or change the discipline. There are other trainers out there who will push the ever-loving out of that horse and medicate it and inject it. And there are owners that will allow that and encourage that for horses that are not cut out to be the top. But that said, as a top athlete in professional training, your life's a little different, but you also have to love it. And if your horse doesn't love it, you'll find out pretty quickly. As you all know, bucking, kicking, biting. Most of the horses in professional training, if they go out in the sun, have head to toe fly sheets on so that their coat stays glossy and unblemished. Most of the horses in professional training go out in a paddock alone so that they don't run the risk of hurting themselves or being hurt by another horse. Some of them are needy and need a little pony or a goat or a friend or a pasture mate, and that's how that works. But when they're in professional training and they're in show mode, they're generally going out alone for a few hours a day and being pampered and cared for as a professional athlete. And then you have your different type of horse, the ones that we see at the open shows or the schooling shows that come in and they're just adorable. As long as they're clean, right? As long as you've washed them and you've cleaned your tack and they've got a little tummy on them, yay. You love your pony and your pony's out here happily doing it. It's different levels and different focuses of training that you're asking for your horse. So when you want to go out and criticize how horses are treated in small acre facilities like Wellington and Ocala, when they only go out for a few hours a day here and there in smaller paddocks, or you want to criticize that they stay in stalls and they're hand walked, remember that happens in every single breed, that happens in every single discipline. It's just where you are and what kind of you've signed the horse up for and what the horse honestly, hopefully has signed up for also. Again, if they're not wanting to be a professional, then they probably shouldn't be a professional. It's not always correct training. I have definitely done the wrong thing numerous times because I thought it was the right thing. I wish I could go back and apologize to some of the horses that I pushed too far because I wanted to be a professional that was taken seriously, or I needed to hit that goal today, or I didn't read their signs that they were giving me correctly. And because I've done that, maybe I'm a little bit more of a cautious trainer than I should be. But I'm proud of how I train. I'm also very afraid to post things online. I also am an overweight trainer and instructor who is afraid to ride in front of most people. And I'm not alone in that. There are a lot of trainers who are not the normal body type, who, when you lose sight of what you can pick on people, you go after their weight. And I am overweight and I am out of shape. And there are probably reasons behind that, and I'm not going to get into that. I don't have to. But I am a quiet rider. I'm a good rider. I'm a kind rider. I'm a kind trainer. I'm a supportive trainer. So what difference does it make if I am a certain weight due to several medical issues? What difference does it make? What difference does it make? So we have found this video on Facebook. It makes us cringe. What do we do about it? Do we go at them and attack them and then send it around on Facebook and get other people to attack these people and make them feel like less than and make them feel like worthless owners or worthless trainers and probably make them very defensive? Or Could you train your eye and train your mind and train your response to be a little bit more encouraging and educating? And you say, whoa, whoa, I know what you're thinking. Well, they're being abusive to this horse. Why would I be kind to them? Well, as the little girl from that board barn, watching these amazing trainers train these Arabs and quarter horses, saddlebreds, and cutting horses and reiners, and showmanship horses and halter horses and Arab halter horses, I watched all kinds of things. I watched them handle stallions and jerk the ever loving out of them with a chain when the stallions would get like rank. Did I understand that that's why they were jerking the horse? No. Can I say I've never jerked a horse? No, because I watched other people do it and I didn't know why. And I did it too. And I regret it. I wish I could go back and tell my horses, I'm so sorry, but I can't. But what I can do is understand there are people out there that don't know any better. And if they are educated, they will change how they do things. And if you are kind to them, they will respect you and your knowledge. So when you're scrolling through these videos that make you sick, these quarter horse congress videos, the ones that you see that look a little four-beat during the lope and they're jerking on their horses, they didn't win the class. They were penalized for riding that way. The Arab show that you all posted when they were down in Arizona this past spring, winter, when they were doing the same thing in the Western Pleasure, there were good-looking horses out there. They were doing it correctly. They won. The ones you saw jerking and that looked a little funky, they did not win. They were penalized for it, and they went back in the back and they tried to figure out what they did wrong. And they probably even had the opportunity to talk to a judge about what they did wrong. So when you're watching some local videos and you see something wrong, what is it you see wrong? Is the horse nervous? Is the horse in pain? Is the rider aggressive for no reason? Is it a behavioral issue that the rider is having to correct in an aggressive, assertive manner, and then immediately rewarding the horse for positive response? Or is this a nervous, timid horse? Does the horse look lame? Is the horse in pain? If the answer is no, then maybe your response should be more of a question, like, why do you use that bit? Why do you use blinders? Can you please explain the stacks? Can you explain why you want the horse to go this slow? That's one way of doing it. The other way of doing it would be, the horse looks a little bit nervous here. Do you notice the eyes, the whites of the eyes, or the wrinkles above its eyes, the tight jaw, their tail looks tight? Perhaps make it more of a, do you see these issues that are worldwide an issue? That will help you in the long run, because then the person might not have seen it, and definitely the other people reading the comments might not have seen it that way. It's a great idea to try to educate in a positive way. What do I mean by that? You can be very mean and negative, or you could be kind and positive and understanding and open-minded. If you want to change an industry, this is the way to go about it. You have to encourage people to do the right thing. You have to encourage people to open their mind up. You have to encourage people and show them the right way in theory of training these horses, and maybe taking a little bit longer to train these horses, or maybe educate yourself on, is having a stretchy on the horse's legs really all that bad? Stretchy? No. Chains and soaring? Absolutely. But if you're going to go at people, maybe only go at the things that actually are harsh, so that you can have a discussion about how to change the industry a bit, or how to change the training and actually make a difference, instead of just kind of causing people to doubt themselves and get really mean and hateful, because we have enough doubt out there and we have enough hate out there. And this industry should be about love and compassion and support, proper training, kindness, and the love of the horses, man. Right?